So now today you are discussing about mass matrix. Already we have used mass matrix for beam element as well as bar element. So you are discussing about the dynamic analysis. In the case of dynamic analysis, there is a one more force, that is inertia force. So inertia force is given by mass into acceleration. So we have regular resistive force because of the stiffness of the spring. That is normally referred as Ks, Kx. Kx is the resistive force because of the spring stiffness. Our simple example is, if you try to push the spring in the downward direction, the spring will try to push you in the upward direction. That is nothing but restoring force, or because of the stiffness of the spring, it will try to push in the opposite direction. That is one force. That is for the static case. So when you come to dynamic analysis, when you come to dynamic analysis, so there is an additional force, that is nothing but the inertia force or mass into acceleration. The magnitude is given by mass into acceleration. So we have stiffness force, the restoring force Kx, and we have one more force, that is nothing but the mass into acceleration. So that is nothing but your inertia force. Hence, the mass matrix is very important in the case of dynamic analysis. So that's why you are going for, straight away I am going for so I hope what you understand why we require mass matrix for the dynamic analysis. So already we have used the mass matrix. Now you have to derive the mass matrix for different element as per your syllabus. So first we will start with the bar element. So normally there are two types of mass matrix. So one is consistent mass matrix and one more is the lumped mass matrix. In the case of consistent mass matrix, so mass is distributed. Okay. So where mass is distributed uniformly throughout the beam or bar, hence it is referred as a consistent mass matrix. There is one more type of mass matrix, that is referred as lumped mass matrix. The lumped mass matrix, imagine we have the total weight of the beam is, let it be around 1000 kg. Out of 1000 kg, the 500 kg is lumped in the node 1. Another 500 kg is lumped in node 2. That is nothing but lumped mass matrix. As per your syllabus, you have to study both consistent mass matrix as well as lumped mass matrix. The consistency, the general literal meaning is, it is mass is consisting throughout the length of the bar. So if it is existing each and every point of the bar, so hence it is referred as a consistent mass matrix. But in the case of lumped mass matrix, once again repeat, so total weight of the beam, let it be beam, you can understand better. If it is 1000 kg, so instead of uniformly distributing, actual load is uniformly distributed. The self weight of the beam is uniformly distributed. Uniformly distributed load can be converted into point load. The finally point load is applied at nodal point in finite element method. If the total weight of the beam is 1000 kg, 500 kg is, the load is applied at node 1, another 500 kg is applied at node 2. That concept is referred as lumped mass matrix. The lumped mass matrix we'll discuss later. So first we'll finish the derivation of the mass matrix, consistent mass matrix for the bar element. So bar element you are familiar. So now this is node 1. The displacement at node 1 is Q1. Displacement at node 2 is Q2. And we have derived the shape function N1 and N2 for the bar element. You are familiar with N1. N1 is given by 1 minus xi divided by 2. And N2 is given by 1 plus xi divided by 2. You are regularly using these formulas, N1 and N2. There is a one more formula which relates the global coordinate x and natural coordinate z. This is the one more formula. Z is equal to, so z is equal to 2x minus x1 by L minus 1, or if you differentiate this, we'll get dz is equal to so and so. Finally, we'll get expression for dx. Because initial level, the most of the integration is in the global coordinate 0 to L. In the later stage, you have to convert the integral from 0 to L to minus 1 to plus 1. In such cases, you have to replace all global coordinate x in terms of the local coordinate or natural coordinate z. If any issues related to the audio as well as the PPT, etc., please inform me, because we are putting those videos in Google Classroom. If audio is missing or PPT is missing, it will not be helpful to you also, others also. Even later stage also, if you have any difficulties, we can replay the audios and we can see. That is one of the advantage. That's why I'm requesting. So if there is any issues related to audio as well as the PPT, if it is not visible, please inform me. I'll try to sort it out. So now we have considered the bar element. You are familiar, node 1 and node 2, and the shape functions are also given, n1 and n2. Displacement at node 1 is q1, displacement at node 2 is q2, and volume of the bar element is given by dv. You are considering a small strip, it is given by a into dx. And we can initially, most of the formulas initially it is in global coordinate. The later stage during processing, even in the software part also, during processing, all coordinates should be converted into the local coordinate or natural coordinate. Natural coordinates are xi, zeta, and eta. Because bar element is one dimensional element, you are considering only xi. Now, treating the material density rho to be constant over the element, or you are assuming that the material density is constant or material is homogeneous. When material is homogeneous, the density is also uniform. That's normally whenever we're going for the casting, etc., we try to have the homogeneous material having almost same density. If there is some porosities or hole, etc., density will be changes. But you are assuming, first step, we are assuming that the density remains constant throughout the material. This is one assumption. The general formula for the mass matrix is given by rho into n transpose n into dv. Irrespective of whether it is a bar element, beam element, triangular element, or quadrilateral element, the formula for mass matrix is given by rho into n transpose n into dv. That is the formula for the mass matrix. Then rho is equal to constant. You are assuming that rho is material is homogeneous, hence rho is constant. So we can take it outside when rho is constant, and finally we have end with n transpose n into dv. But again, when you come to dv, so dv can be expressed in terms of a into dx. The most of finite element analysis equations for in terms of volume integral, initially that volume can be converted to the line integral by dv is replaced. For converting volume integral to line integral, so you are replacing dv by a into dx. You can see here we have the dv, so dv is replaced by a into dx. So finally we have taken out rho outside, and this dv is replaced by a into dx. Again, a is constant, cross section area of the bar element is constant. You have taken ae outside. The finally end with n transpose n into dx. This n transpose into n, that is required even for heat transfer also. You have derived many equations by using integration of n transpose into n. So where n is given, that will derive it separately. So n transpose into n, and dx is replaced by le by 2 into dxi. So we have the dx. The equation for dx is obtained by using the relationship between the local coordinate xi and global coordinate x. You are replacing the dx in terms of le by 2 into dxi. This is in the global coordinate. So now you are moving towards the natural coordinate. When you're moving from global coordinate to natural coordinate, the integration limit also changes from 0 to L to minus 1 to plus 1. That's first part. At the same time, dx is replaced by le by 2 into d xi, and this is the formula. Now we are end with n transpose. So n is given by q n1 n2. It is a row vector. The shape function matrix, it is a vector n1 and n2. N transpose is given by n1 n2. N is n1 n2, the row vector. The n transpose is column vector. So we'll end with n1 n2. Then n is n1 n2 n into d xi. And after multiplying these two matrices, because it is 2 by 2 matrix, it is 1 by 2. So we will end with 2 by 2 matrix. After simplification, so anyhow rho is outside, AE is outside, LE is also outside, 2 is outside. After simplifying this matrix, so we'll end with the integration of this will end with 2 1 1 2 1 by 3 into 2 1 1 2. In the examination point of view, if you remember this formula value, so integration of this complete term, it is better. So that will be 1 by 3 into 2 1 1 2. Otherwise you have to go for the integration. Integrations are shown separately. So now we have the integration. I am expanding this term. I am going for the integration. In the examination, depending upon the marks, straight away you can write this formula. Mass matrix for the bar element already we have used rho AE rho AL divided by 6 into 2 1 1 2 already we have used. Or in the examination, if you forget, so you can integrate. We have integration of n1. This is the complete n1 the integration term. You are integrating n1 separately. You are integrating the n1 n2 separately. You are integrating this third term separately. You are integrating the fourth term separately. If you integrate everything, so we'll get 1 by 3 2 1 1 2. That is after integration. But here what we have is one term is integration of n1 square. So now we are integrating the n1 square separately instead of mixing here. So we are integrating n1 square separately. Integration of n1 square, the limit ranging from minus 1 to plus 1 into d xi into minus 1 plus 1, and you are substituting n1 value. The n1 value is given by 1 minus xi divided by 2 the whole square. Then you have to expand the term. After expanding the term, then you have to integrate the individual term. After integration, apply the limit from ranging from minus 1 to plus 1. And after doing all simplification, the will end with integration of minus 1 to plus 1, n1 square into d xi become 2 by 3. In the similar way, you have to integrate the integration of minus 1 to plus 1 n2 square into d xi. So now n2 value you have to remember, that is 1 plus xi divided by 2. But if you have n2 square, we have square. You are taking 1 by 4. You are expanding 1 plus xi the whole square. Then applying the limit. After application of the limit, etc. So we'll end with integration of minus 1 to plus 1 n2 square is equal to 2 by 3. Similarly, there is a one more term, the integration of minus 1 to plus 1 n1 n2 into d xi. So now we n1 value is known 1 minus xi divided by 2, n2 value is known n1 plus xi divided by 2. After integration, then you have to multiply those two, then you expand the term, then apply the integration for individual element. After application of the integration for individual element, so we'll end with the integration of minus 1 to plus 1 n1 n2 d xi, that's equal to 1 by 3. That is, but in the examination point of view, either we can go for individual integration depending on the mark. Otherwise, you go up to this point, then you write after integration and further simplification and applying the limit, we'll get the rho AE LE divided by 6 into 2 1 1 2. That is, you are depending upon the mark, you have to decide. If you forget this formula, again you have to go for integration of individual term, because I included this integration, detailed integration in mass matrix also, derivation of the mass matrix also. This detailed integration is also included in heat transfer. Yesterday, day before yesterday, I released one more notes exclusively for Galerkin approach for conduction, and one more is conduction combined with convection, and one more is the heat transfer through fin. There also we have a lot of derivations. All derivations are included. Derivations, mathematical part is also included. in those notes, better to refer those notes, or already have sent original notes. If you have any doubt, you can refer back these notes. So now, so after what is the first part is over. Now, in general, when you come to consistent mass matrix for the bar element, we have general formula. Just I am revising what you have done. So mass matrix, general formula for mass matrix is given by rho into n transpose n into dV. And most of the time, material, assume that material is homogeneous, like most of the metals are homogeneous material. There is no defect, there is no major defect, macroscopic level of defect, then we can assume that it is a material is homogeneous. For homogeneous material, density is constant, hence you are taking the density outside. We know the formula for N1 and N2. Already we have written what is the formula for N1 and N2. Then after substitution everything, finally end with mass matrix for the bar element is given by rho AL divided by 6 into 2112. That is the final formula you have to remember, because as per your syllabus you have to study the problems on bars. So you have to remember this formula, because when you're going for a dynamic analysis, there is a inertia force. The inertia force is given by mx double dot or mq double dot when you come to your finite element analysis. Hence, mass matrix is required. This is the derivation for mass matrix for bar element. When you come to consistent mass matrix for the truss element, so truss element, there are 4 degrees of freedom that you are familiar, Q1, Q2 at node 1 and Q3, Q4 at node 2. The 4 degrees of freedom, we have slightly different. N20, it is 2 by 4 matrix. 2 by 4 matrix, the 2 rows and 4 columns, it is in a 2 by 4 matrix, N10, N20, 0, N1, 0, N2, it is a N. Then if you go for N transpose, this is the N transpose. And again for truss element, the N1 is given. N1 is 1 minus xi divided by 2. N2 is equal to 1 plus xi divided by 2. It is same as the bar element. And we have the mass matrix, general formula for the mass matrix. The mass matrix is given by rho into n transpose n into dV. So when you come to bar element, the n is given by n1 n2. But when you come to truss element, the n is this is the matrix. We have separate 2 by 4 matrix for the n. So n transpose is the 4 by 2 matrix. You can see here. This is the n transpose. Already we have n. The transpose this will get n transpose. Substitute the value of n transpose and n. So dV is replaced by AE into dx. And again dx is in terms of global coordinate, that you have to replace in terms of local coordinate. For that you have to use the relationship between the global coordinate x and the natural coordinate xi. This relation repeatedly you are using. Xi is equal to 2 into x minus x1 divided by LE minus 1. That is the relationship between the global coordinate and local coordinate. If you, once you differentiate, you will get the equation for dx. So now substitute the value of n transpose n dx, then limit becomes minus 1 to plus 1. So finally end with rho AE LE divided by 2 minus 1 to plus 1 n transpose n into d xi. Already we know that what is n transpose into n into d xi, but it is slightly different. So this is the n transpose, this is the n. After simplification, again it's a very lengthy process. So better to remember the final matrix. We have this mass matrix given by this equation. After simplification, we have rho AL divided by 6 or 2 into 3. So this, the integration of n transpose n is given by 2010 0201 1020 0102. All rows, the diagonal elements are 222. Then the second diagonal element is 0. The third diagonal element is 1 and 0. You can remember like this. The major diagonal elements are 222 and second diagonal element is 000. The third diagonal element is 111. You can remember like this. We have rho A LE divided by 2 into the integration of complete, this will be So 1 by 3 into this matrix. So no need to go for simplifying and getting all those things. Try to remember this matrix because it is given in the syllabus. The derivation of consistent mass matrix for the trust element, but there is no need to solve problems on trust element as per your syllabus. You have to solve problems on the bar element as well as the beam element. Already you have solved one problems from each element. Those notes will be shared shortly with you. Otherwise, in the examination, still if you get if you forget this matrix, you can stop it here. So after simplifying this equation and the substitution of those values, you can substitute what is n1, n2. You can substitute here. Here also you can substitute n1 and n2. You can leave it. You may lose few marks. So instead of writing the wrong answer here, instead of writing the wrong matrix, that's the one more option. At least you'll get around 80 to 90% of the mark. Then in the similar way, you have to derive. So that means when you come to, if you go for summarize how to derive mass matrix for the truss element, you have to draw the truss diagram. You are familiar, and you have to node 1 and node 2. There are 4 degrees of freedom. Hence, your U matrix or displacement element displacement vector is given by Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. But difference is N1 value is same as bar element 1 minus xi divided by 2. N2 is 1 plus xi divided by 2. It is same as bar element. But N matrix is differs. N matrix is given by N matrix for the bar element is N1, N2, but it has 4 degrees of freedom. The truss element is having 4 degrees of freedom. Hence, so your N matrix, and it is a 2D truss. Hence, N matrix is given by N1 0, N2 0, 0 N1 0 N2. This matrix you have to remember. Once you know this, you can get transpose. After simplification, we get mass matrix for the truss element. That is consistent mass matrix for the truss element. Then consistent mass matrix for the beam element. You are familiar with the beam structure. The Q1 is nothing but V1 vertical deflection. The Q2 is nothing but angular rotation about node 1. Then density of the material is rho. The area of the cross section of the beam is AE. And at the node 2, the vertical deflection is given by Q3. That's also we can refer as V3. And the angular rotation about node 2 is given by Q4. That is nothing but your V theta 2. So we are shown here the displacement vector is equal to degrees of freedom at node 1 and degrees of freedom at node 2. The degrees of freedom at node 1 is V1 and theta 1, and degrees of freedom at node 2 is vertical deflection as well as rotation. Then we have the H matrix. We have V. So we refer to displacement at any point within the element. Once you know your V1 theta 1 and V2 theta 2, we can get the value of V at any point within the element. That is given by V is equal to HQ. So Q is V1 theta 1, V2 theta 2. It is the element, the displacement vector for the beam element. It is a 1 by 4, the 4 by 1 matrix vector. And H already you are derived H1, H2, H3, H4, H1, H2, H3, LE by 2, H4. That is H matrix. So now, because better to write what is H1, H2, H3, H4, I told the shortcut method to remember. You start first to write 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 1 by 4. Then 1 minus xi square, 1 minus xi square. Another two terms, it is 1 plus xi the whole square plus 1 plus xi the whole square. Then when you come to N1, it is multiplied by 2 plus xi. For N3, it is H3, it is 2 minus xi. For H2, 1 plus xi. When you come to H4, the 1 minus xi. Because we are using H1, H2, H3, H4. But for the beam, for the truss, N1 or N1 is given by 1 minus xi divided by 2. And N2 is given by, those are the shape functions. N2 is given by 1 plus xi divided by 2. In the similar way, for the beam element, we have N1, N2, N3, N4. Instead of calling N1, N2, N3, N4, you are referring it as H1, H2, H3, H4. You are familiar. Those formulas you have studied. Then general formula for beam is again remains same. Rho into N transpose N into dV. So N transpose is replaced by H transpose into H. The dV is as usual AE into dx. The dV is nothing but elementary strip volume is given by area of the cross section of the beam. into length we are considering. Length you are considering is dx. This is the dx. Dx should be replaced by le by 2, and you are changing the integral same as previous case. So now I think this equal to, we have this finally after simplification we get rho a le divided by 2 into h transpose into h. We know that what is h transpose, already we have h. This is h. If after simplification, multiplication and simplification, we will get mass matrix for the beam element. This is the mass matrix for the beam element. This matrix already you are used. The rho a le divided by 40. Just you have to write 4 by 4 box. The first write diagonal element. So one more way to remember, shortcut method to remember is diagonal element is first draw 4 by 4 matrix. Then diagonal elements are 156 4 LE square, 156 4 LE square. The second diagonal element is 22 LE, 13 LE minus 22. First 22, last element is minus 22. The third diagonal element is 54 minus 3 LE, and last one is minus 13 LE, because the stiffness matrix is always symmetric. If you remember half of the matrix is sufficient, the remaining half matrix we can get it from the symmetric. So, but as per your syllabus, you have to derive the consistent mass matrix for the beam element. If you summarize the beam element, we have N1, N2, N1, N2, N3, N4 are replaced by H1, H2, H3, H4. Then we have to remember the formula. Then V is given by H cube. H already we know that H is a vector. It's a row vector. Q is the column vector. After multiplication, we'll get H transpose into H. We have N transpose. N transpose is replaced by H transpose. Then after simplification, we'll get this matrix. That is it. Then consistent mass matrix for the linear triangular element. Sometimes in the examination, they may ask CST element. The CST element, the linear triangular element is also same. There are three names. One is linear element, linear triangular element. We can see here. This is a linear triangular element. It is also referred as CST element. It is also referred as three-noded triangular element. We can have six-noded triangular element also, nine-noded triangular element also, 10-noded triangular element also. But basic triangular element is the three-noded triangular element. That is nothing but linear triangular element. We are deriving mass matrix for the linear triangular element. So triangular element, there are two displacement. The displacement is given by u and v. So u refer to displacement along x direction. That is q1, q2, q1, q3 you can see here, and q5 refer to displacement along x direction. q2, q4 and q6 refer to displacement along y direction. Hence the displacement vector for the triangular element is given by uv. Then when you come to, there is a slight difference with respect to shape function n, because there are three nodes and each node is having 2 degrees of freedom. Hence the total degrees of freedom for the triangular element is 6. The DOF along x direction and another 3 DOF along y direction. X direction DOFs are q1, q3 and q5, and y direction DOFs are q2, q4 and q6. Hence the order of n matrix is 2 by 6. Order of the shape function matrix or interpolation matrix is the 2 by 6. In the case of beam, the order of the shape function matrix is, you can see already you have seen, the order of the shape function matrix for the beam is given by the order of the shape matrix is given by, you can see here, h1 le by 2, h2 h3 le by 2, h4, that is 1 by 4. When you come to this beam element, especially triangular element, there are 6 degrees of freedom. Hence the order of the shape function matrix is given by 2 into 6, n1 0, n2 0, n3 0, 0 n1, 0 n2, 0 n3. You practice this, then it will be by once or twice you write and practice, then you will understand better. That is the difference. In when you come to triangular element, there is a displacement both along x direction as well as y direction. Then again, we are using the same matrix. General formula for mass matrix is given by integration, elemental integration, rho n transpose n into dv. When you come to triangular element, the dv is given by t into dA because you are considering the thickness. When you consider the thickness, so dv is given by, when you come to thickness, the dv is given by, dv is given by thickness into area. But in the case of bar, in the case of the circular rod, etc., the volume is given by area of cross section into dx. But when you come to triangular plate, the volume is given by thickness into triangular thickness into area of the triangular plate. You are considering very small triangular plate having area dA and thickness is TE, and hence dV is given by TE into dA. That is the mass matrix. Then n1, n2, n2. So now after simple multiplication, etc., we may end with n1 square into dA. So that is n1. If you cannot do all calculation, multiplication or integration, etc., you have to remember n1 square into dA is 1 by 6 into AE. Similarly, n1, n2 into dA is given by 1 by 12 AE. And n2 square dA, integration of n2 square into dA is nothing but AE divided by 6. The AE is the area of the triangle. Then integration of n3 square into dA is AE by 6. Similarly, n2, n3 dA is AE by 12. You have to remember some values, you have to remember. So remembering sometimes you may feel difficult, but once you are twice, if you practice, then you can remember. N3 into n2 again AE divided by 10. So finally, the mass matrix is given by the integration of n transpose. So this is the n transpose into n. If you multiply all those things, you get the mass matrix for the triangular element. This is the mass matrix for the triangular element. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 by 6 matrix for the triangular element. All diagonal elements are 2. Easy to remember the complete mass matrix for the triangular element is, the first diagonal element is 2 2, the second diagonal element is 0, third diagonal element is 1, the fourth diagonal element is 0, and fifth diagonal element is 1. 2 1 1, like that. In the alternate there is a zeros. In that way we can remember the 6 by 6 matrix. So triangular element can be represented in global coordinate. You can see here this is a global x direction and global y direction. Then we have x1, y1 for node 1. The coordinate of node 2 is given by x2, y2. Coordinate node 3 is given by x3, y3. The same triangular element can be expressed in terms of the natural coordinate system. It is also referred to the parent triangular element. The parent triangular element is always right angle triangle. You have to remember the parent triangular element is always the right angle triangle. And this is xi is equal to 0 and 0 0. And this is 0. This distance is 1 unit. This become 1 0 because from this point to this point the total distance is 1 unit. That xi value is 1 and eta value is 0. When you come to node 2, xi value is 0, height or zeta along y direction, its value is 1 0 1. This is normally referred as node 1, this is normally referred as node 2, and this is node 3. Or we can say that there we can write the triangular element in global coordinate, or even you can express the same triangular element in the parent element or in natural coordinate system. In the examination, you can write one triangular element in global coordinate and without any difficulties. You can write one more triangular element in local coordinate or natural coordinate system. Then you can write the triangular, you can derive mass matrix for the triangular element. This part of your module 5 is easy compared to another part of the this module 5, that is axis symmetry. You have lengthy derivation. Better to concentrate more on the vibration part in the module 5. Then as per your syllabus, you have to study the axisymmetric triangular element. So just one more thing I want to tell is today we have a quiz at 2 o'clock. Everyone should attend the quiz. That is considered for 10 mark. That is equivalent to one assignment. So today we are starting the quiz at 2 o'clock. That sample questions already have circulated. Just practice those. Try to get the answer for those questions. It is 4 answer is given. Choose the right answer. Then 10 question will be given. Only 10 question will be given. For those 10 question, you have to answer. Again, question everything will be sent to your official mail ID and it will be shared in Google Classroom also. Then already you are familiar with how to attend quiz in the Google Classroom that already you have experience with other subject. But the dynamic analysis, as per your module scheme, is considered you have to study. As per module scheme is considered, this comes under module 5. Module 5, there are 2 parts. The one part is the dynamic analysis. One part is axisymmetry. Axisymmetry, again, we have the derivations are there and problems also are there. That also I am covering. But dynamic part, compared to axisymmetry, dynamic part will be easy. Problems are we may get one problem from either from a bar element or beam element. Those part already you have studied in the previous class. These are the small derivations. If you forget the final value, at least draw the sketch neatly. Draw the, suppose if the axisymmetric triangle element is similar to triangular element only, you have U and W, the displacement. Draw the neat sketch. Write down the general formula for the mass matrix. Then what is R, etc. Those things you have to write. There is one more type of element that is referred as axisymmetric triangular element. The second part of your module 5 is deals with axisymmetry element. One of the axisymmetric element is the triangular element. One of the axisymmetric element is triangular element. There are 2 types of axisymmetric element. One axisymmetric element is quadrilateral element, and one more is the triangular element. As per your syllabus, you have to study axisymmetric triangular element as well as quadrilateral element. The second part of your module 5. The first part of the module 5, you are dealing with dynamic analysis. With respect to dynamic analysis, we require to know what is the mass matrix for the axisymmetric triangular element. For the axisymmetric triangular element, again we have 2 displacement along x direction and displacement along y direction. The displacement along x direction is given by U and displacement along y direction is given by W. Then we have the general formula for the axisymmetric general formula for the mass matrix. So rho into n transpose n into dV. So it is not just triangular. If you rotate the triangular element, you will get axis of revolution. You heard about axis of revolution. Most of the cylinders will come under the axisymmetric element. Cylinder will come under the axisymmetric element. Even if you consider cone, it is symmetric about the central axis. That is also comes under axisymmetric element. If you consider the complete human body, the human body is also axisymmetric. It is symmetric. On the left side one hand, equivalently right side one hand. In the front, there is one eye on the left side, another one eye on the other side. Our whole body is axis symmetry. In the similar, those concepts are used in finite element analysis to reduce the storage space, to reduce the time for analysis and simulation, etc. Then there is a separate category of the element. Those category of elements are referred as axis symmetric element. One of the axis symmetric element is the triangular element. When you come to axis symmetric element, the dV is not A into dx, it is 2 pi r into dA or 2 pi d. 2 pi r refers to the perimeter or pi d refers to perimeter. If you express in terms of radius, the perimeter P is given by 2 pi r or pi d into area. The perimeter into area gives the total volume for the axisymmetric solid. So dV is represented by 2 pi r into dA. That is the difference. Then we have different, you have to imagine we have the axis here somewhere here at the center. You are rotating a complete triangle. Once you rotate, you will get some shape that you are studied about different types of pattern used in Foundry. Also, there is a axisymmetric pattern. Also, we can generate the cylinders cylindrical mold by using the special type of patterns. So now the volume is given by 2 pi r into dA. That is the one difference. So now, if you can imagine, we can imagine one axis line. If you imagine one axis line here, the radius of the node 1 is r1. The radius of the node 1 with respect to axis, vertical axis is r2. The radius of the node 3 with respect to vertical axis is r3. You can see here r1, r2, r3. r1, r2, r3 refer to the radius of the node 1, radius of node 2, and radius of node 3 with respect to vertical axis. Now the r is given by r at any point, because we know what is the r at node 1, we know what is the r at node 2, we know r at node 3. But suppose we want r at any point within the element, we have given by, we can express radius or geometry also in terms of the interpolation function. R is given by n1 r2, n2 r2, n3 r3. That means if you know the radius at node 1, if you know the radius at node 2, if you know the radius at node 3, we can find out the radius of any point within the element by using these functions. By using these functions, that is nothing but r is equal to this formula. So now again you have to go for mass matrix. We have the general formula. The density is constant. You have taken 2 pi outside, and R is replaced by this formula, n transpose n into dA. Then we have replacing same thing here. But if you're going for after multiplication etc., we'll end with this equation. So how will you remember this equation? So you have to get some shortcut method. It is symmetric equation, mass matrix for the triangular element. It is an axisymmetric triangular element. This is a symmetric. I have not shown the other part of the matrix. Only upper portion of the matrix I have filled all the element, like 4 by 3 r1 plus 2 r bar. 2 r bar refer to the average radius. R1 plus R2 plus R3 divided by 2 is nothing but the average radius of the triangular element. You have the formula. You have to use this matrix. So how will you remember? It is choice is left to you. Practice once or twice so that you can remember, or at least you can write the triangular element. You can explain the axisymmetric triangular element. You can write n1, n2, all those formula. Then we can at least you get around 60 to 70% of the mark. Then we have formula, the integration in between after multiplication etc. We get one integration. The integration n1 cube into dA, that is given by 2ae divided by 20. In the similar n1 square into n2 into dA, that is 2ae divided by 60. n1, n2, n3, this also you get after simplification, application of the limit etc. We are end with mass matrix for the bar element, this triangular element. In the similar way, you have to derive the mass matrix for the quadrilateral element. The quadrilateral element, there are 8 degrees of freedom. There are 4 nodes. Each node is having 2 degrees of freedom. That is U1, V1, U2, U2, U3, V3, U4, U4. Totally 8 degrees of freedom. Then 2 direction, X direction and Y direction. Hence, the order of the n matrix is given by 2 into 8. Because there are 2 directions, N1, X direction and Y direction. Then 8 degrees of freedom. Hence, we have 8. N1 0, N2 0, N3 0, N4 0. So this is the n matrix. Then when you come to mass matrix for the triangular element, we have the double integration, rho into T. That is nothing but a volume. Rho into T is A into T is the volume, minus 1 to plus 1, minus 1 to plus 1 along x. It is a double integration. Most of the time when you are doing calculating the area, you have to go for the double integration. Hence, you are going for the double integration. Same formula, n transpose n. But here we have determinant of j into d xi into d zeta. We have dx and dy. The dx and dy is replaced by determinant of j into d xi into d zeta. You have to remember, we have dx into dy. Dx into dy is replaced by determinant of d xi into d zeta in terms of natural coordinate. I am not going for any simplification. Just draw one quadrilateral element and write down the formula. What is n1, n2, n3 also I have written. For the quadrilateral element, n1 is given by 1 by 4. 1 by 4, you can into 1 minus xi. You can see the first, this is node 1. This is 1 minus xi, 1 minus zeta. Hello? No, tell me. Do you have any doubt? If you have any doubt, you can ask me. I hope there is no doubt. But as per your syllabus, you have to study, but it is not included for your second test. But you have to study, no other option. Dynamic analysis is very important. Being in mechanical engineering, those who want to go for aerospace industries or mechanical industries, then vibration is one of the important. Again, vibration using study, using finite element analysis, one more area you can get better opportunities. That's why don't leave this dynamic analysis. We have n1, n2, n3, n4. So once you know the coordinate in this is again the quadrilateral element can be written in global coordinate. This is in the global coordinate. So when you write quadrilateral element in natural coordinate, it will become the right angle. It becomes square. So the coordinate of each corner of the square is given by this is like this is 0, 0. This is minus, minus. This is plus and minus. This is 1, 1. This is minus 1. So n1 is 1 minus 1 by 4 is common. 1 minus xi, 1 minus zeta. N2 is, we can see this coordinate, we can write. It is a zeta is plus, xi is plus, zeta is minus. So here xi and zeta are both are positive. Here xi is negative, here positive. This you can write. So just write on the mass quadrilateral element in global coordinate, then write down the quadrilateral element in natural coordinate, and write down what is u. So u is, we have 8 degrees of freedom, u1, v1. So u1, v1 refer to displacement along x direction u1 at node 1. Similarly, v1 correspond to displacement of node 1 along y direction. Like that, we have 4 degrees of freedom, no, 8 degrees of freedom. You have to remember n matrix, then write down the general formula. So no need to write the final calculated value. Similarly, you have one more type of matrix, it is referred to lumped mass matrix. So no derivation for lumped mass matrix. Lumped in the sense, we have beam, so it is subject to uniformly distributed load because of the self weight. So instead of giving the load, the weight and each and every point of the beam, the complete load UDL is transferred to the nodal point. So this load will be lumped in the nodal point. Hence, it is referred as lumped mass matrix. Suppose the weight of the beam is 1000 kg. So load is uniformly distributed because of the self weight. So in the consistent mass matrix, the load is acting throughout the beam. But when you come to lumped mass matrix, the actual beam is, we have a load is acting throughout the beam. But when you come to finite element analysis, instead of applying the load at each and every point of the beam, the load is transferred to the nodal point. If the total weight of the beam is 1000 kg, 500 kg is applied at node 1 and another 500 kg is applied at node 2. Then such concept is referred as the lumped mass matrix. For truss element, so we can draw the truss element in local coordinates. We have only x dash direction, that is referred to local coordinate. Then mass matrix is given by rho al divided by 1001. We can write the same truss element in global coordinate. Those things already we studied in the derivation of the stiffness matrix for the truss element. This is the formula. Mass matrix for the lumped mass matrix for the truss in global coordinate. Again, you have to remember two formulas. One is local coordinate because there are only 2 degrees of freedom, q1 dash and q2 dash. Hence, order of the matrix is 2 by 2. When you come to global coordinate system, the truss has 4 degrees of freedom. Hence, the mass matrix is order of the mass matrix is 4 by 4. The lumped mass matrix for the bar element is given by rho A LE divided by 2. It is rho A LE divided by 2 is nothing but a total mass. So area into length is volume. volume multiplied by density is nothing but mass. So total, suppose total mass is 1000 kg, it is divided by 2. So once it is divided by 2, the 1000 kg is distributed at node 1 as well as node 2, 500 kg at node 1 and another 500 kg at node 2. That is the concept of lumped mass matrix. This is the formula for lumped mass matrix as it is given. So this derivation is a small derivation, solid body with distributed mass. That I'll do in the next class. If you have any doubt, you can clarify. So attend the test. This test is simple. It may require around 5 to 10 minutes. 10 questions. You have to answer all 10 questions. There are multiple choices. 1, 2, 3, 4. So out of that, you have to select the right answer in the Google Classroom. Already questions, sample questions are shared with you, shared with Google Classroom as well as in mail. So similar type of question may come for your test. It will be considered as one of the assignment, because assignment 1, assignment 2, then suppose you got assignment 1 10, assignment 2 10, and quiz marks if you get 10, the total is 30 divided by 3, then your inter mark, because for the assignment and quiz will be 10, like that it will be calculated. That is also important. It will be considered for your test mark also or IA mark also. That's why all of you attend the quiz. I think you are already attended the quiz for other subject. I hope you will get good marks in the quiz. If there is no doubt, I'll stop the session.